Chapter 64, Anna. There's a noise on the landing, the quiet ping of the lift as it announces its arrival. I look at Mum, but her eyes are fixed on the door. Who is it? I whisper, but she doesn't answer. Could it be the police? Mark would have called them as soon as we left Eastbourne. They know we're here, and now they've found Dad's body. They must know what she did. They must realise who I'm with. I pin my hopes on Mark and Murray, on them adding two and two and making four. Open the door, I know you're in there. A rush of relief makes me heady. I almost laugh. Not the police, but the next best thing. Mum doesn't move, but I do. I've been stupid. The black Mitsubishi Shogun wasn't chasing us. It was trying to make Mum stop. I run to the door and yank it open because suddenly we're two against one and I feel invincible. Thank God you're here. I'm braced for attack from behind, not in front. It catches me square in the chest and forces me backwards where I just managed to hold Ella aloft. As I trip and land on the floor, I let out a moan. My head is trying to catch up with what my eyes are telling me is happening. There is no rescue. Laura shuts the front door and bolts it. She's wearing skinny black jeans with high heels and a shimmery top dressed for a party. She won't be attending a New Year's Eve party. Her hair falls in loose curls around her shoulders and her eyes smolder with glittery greys and greens. She ignores me, directing her anger at Mum, who's backing slowly away from the balcony. You double-crossing bitch. I can still remember Laura's... chapter 65. I can still remember Laura's face. She stood in the doorway, her features frozen in horror. I rang the bell. The doors opened, so she stared at your body. The blood was congealing. The ceiling lights were reflecting in the sticky glitter on the floor, a halo of silver around your head. What happened? I've thought a lot about that moment, about what I'd said. Would things have been different if I explained to her it was an accident? That I'd lost my temper, lashed out. That drink made me do things I hadn't planned to. I killed him. The colour drained from her face. I felt my muscles spasm, and I realised I'd been in the same spot since he fell. I straightened, remembered I was still holding the neck of the bottle. I dropped it, and it fell with a thud, rolling, not breaking. It made Laura jump. The sound jolted me into action. I picked up the phone, but didn't dial. My hand shook. What are you doing? Calling the police. I wondered if being drunk made it better or worse, an aggravated factor to be under the influence or mitigation, that I didn't know what I was doing. You can't call the police. Laura crossed the kitchen and took the phone out of my hand. She glanced at you again, and I saw her wince as she took in the seeping mess from behind your ear. Caroline, you'll be arrested. They'll put you in prison. I sank into a chair, my legs suddenly unable to support my weight. There was a strange smell in the kitchen, a metallic, sour odour of blood and sweat and death. You could get life. I imagined what it would be like to live my life in a prison cell. I thought of the documentaries I've seen. I thought of Prison Break and Orange is the New Black and wondered how close they were to the truth. I thought too of the help I might get, because you were right, Tom. If it was no way to live, I kidded myself that I didn't have a problem, because I didn't wake up shaking or sit in a park with a can of special brew. But I shouted at you, I taunted you, I hit you, and now I would kill you. I had a problem with alcohol, a big problem. I'm calling the police. Caroline, think about this. Think carefully. Once you make the call, there's no going back. What's happening is, she shouted, God, it's awful, but you can't undo it. Going to prison isn't going to bring Tom back. I look at the series of photographs printed on canvas and hung above Vega. You, me, and Anna lying on our stomachs, wearing blue jeans and then white t-shirts, laughing. Laura followed my gaze. She spoke quietly. If you go to prison, Anna, loses both of you. I said nothing for a while. So what? I felt myself sliding away from what was right to what was good. Did it matter? I had already committed a crime. We can leave him here. We? That was the moment. The moment we became a team. No! Her jaw was set tight. No, Laura said. Her jaw was set tight. We can't leave him here. It took two of us to move the terracotta pot away from the manhole cover. You had to put it there when we'd moved in, and I'd planted a bay tree and been given as a housewarming gift. The cover was ugly and there was no need for access. The septic tank was a hangover from when the town boundary was half a mile into the west, and this cluster of house a rural outlier. The key was a fat metal baton about 3 inches long. It lived in the dresser drawer for as long as we lived at Oakview, but it slotted into the hole in the cover as neatly as the day it had been made. Inside a narrow tunnel, like the entrance to a sloping well. The air was stale but not fetid. The contents of the tank long since dried up. I looked at Laura. We were sweating from the effort of dragging you out from the kitchen and from the blind fear of what we were about to do. We'd already done. If we stopped now, it would be too late. It would be obvious we had tried to hide your body. The damage had already been done. We put you in head first, I cried as you slid halfway into the tunnel and stuck fast as your belt caught on the metal surround. Laura pulled hard on your jeans and you made a sound, an involuntary groan as air was forced from your lungs. I couldn't watch. I turned away and heard the heavy drag as you travelled into the tank, a loud dunk, clunk as you hit the bottom. Silence. I had stopped crying, but my heart ached with the loss and guilt. If the police had arrived right then, I think I would have told them everything, not Laura. Now I need to clean up. It was Laura's idea to fake the suicide. If we report him missing, they'll see you as a suspect. They always do. She made me go over the plan again and again, then she left. I didn't sleep. I sat in the kitchen looking out the window. At the garden, I turned into a grave. I cried for you, and yes, I cried for me too. Laura drove to Brighton as soon as it was light, waited for the shops to open and bought a mobile phone, an untraceable SIM card. She called the police, said she'd seen you go over the cliff edge. Every day I expected the police to come. Every day I jumped when the door went. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, and I tried to tempt me with scrambled eggs, scraps of smoked salmon, tiny bowls of fruit salad, her eyes full of her own grief, even as she tried to lessen mine. But the police didn't come. The weeks went by and you were declared dead, and no one pointed a finger or asked a question. And although I saw Laura often, and although we'd never agreed to it, we never spoke of what happened, what we'd done until your life assurance payout. Chapter 66. Anna. I pull myself up to our sitting position and get clumsily to my feet. The ringing in my ears hasn't lessened, but Ella's screams have become whimpers. What will they do to her? She won't remember this night, not consciously, but will something be buried deep in her subconscious? That night her grandmother held her hostage. Laura. I didn't know he'll need to dig up the sewers, Mum said in the car, otherwise we'll never have. Laura knew. Laura helped her. The two women stand facing each other, Laura's hands on her hips. Mum glanced to the table where the gun lies innocently where she left it. She's too slow. Laura follows her gaze, moves fast. Fear pounds in my chest. Laura pulls her sleeve over her hand, wrapping the fabric around her fingers as she picks up the gun. She's methodical, careful, terrifying. I didn't double-cross you, Mum. Mum's defensive. I want to tell her to calm down, but I can't find my voice. You owe me, Caroline. She walks to the sofa and sits on the arm. The gun held steady in her hand. It was all quite simple. If I hadn't been there, you would have been charged with Tom's murder. I saved you. You blackmailed me. Piece of the story slid into place. Not Dad threatening Mum, but Laura. Not Dad who tracked her down. Laura. You? I can't comprehend it. You sent the anniversary card? Laura looks at me for the first time. She takes in Ella, my disabled hair, the shock that made my shoulder register on my face. You were supposed to dismiss it as a crank. Nothing more sinister than the crackpot letters you got when Tom died. She shakes her head. It was a message for Caroline, really, to make her realize who she was up against. I sent her a copy. And I suppose the rabbit was a message too, was it? And the brick from the window. You could have killed Ella. Laura looked momentarily confused, and then she smiled. I think you'll find that came from a little closer to home. I follow her gaze to where Mum has her face in her hands. No, I just wanted you to stop digging into what had happened to us. I knew that if you found the truth, she'd come after you too, and you threw a brick through the nursery window onto your own granddaughter's car. The words sound as though they're coming from someone else, hysteria making them shrill and uneven. I knew Ella was downstairs. I'd seen her from the garden. She takes a step towards me, one arm outstretched, but Laura moves faster. She stands, holding the gun in front of her. She jerks it to the left, once, twice. Mum hesitates, then steps back. Who are these women? My mother, who could hurt her own daughter, her own granddaughter? And Laura, how can you know someone all your life, yet not know them at all? I turned to Laura. How did you know where Mum had gone? I didn't, not at first. I just knew she hadn't killed herself. She looked at my mother, who is sobbing noisily. She's very predictable. Her tone is patronizing, scathing. A wave of revulsion hits me as I think of the way she consoled me after his death, how she helped me through the memorial service. Dad might have died at Mum's hand, but it was Laura who hid his body, who masterminded the suicide, who concealed the crime. I remember her insistence that I go through Mum and Dad's study, her generous offer to do it for me. and realized now that she was searching for clues to where Mum had gone. I've got a copy of that photograph too, you know, you and Mum, in that shitty BB in the arse end of nowhere. Just for a second, there's a crack in Laura's voice, the tiniest hint that underneath this steely control is something more. She never stopped talking about it, how much she laughed, how it was a world away from real life, from her life. She loved it. Her shoulders slumped. She loved you. Slowly she lowered her arms. The gun hangs loosely by her side. This is it, I think. This is where it stops. Everyone said what they need to say, and now it ends without anyone getting hurt. Mum takes a step towards her. I loved her too. You killed her. Instantly the gun is raised. Laura's arm is ramrod straight. Her elbows locked in place. The glimpse of vulnerability I saw her vanished. Her eyes are narrow and dark, every muscle rigid with rage. You married money and you left her in the damp shit pit of a flat and she died. Alicia had asthma, I said. She died from an asthma attack, didn't she? I feel like a flash of panic that this too is a lie. I had to look to my mother for insurance. You didn't even go and see her. I did. Mum closed to tears again. Maybe not as often as I should have. She screwed up her eyes. We drifted apart. She was in London. I was in Eastbourne. I had Anna and you didn't have time for a friend with no money. A friend who didn't speak like new friends did. Who didn't drink champagne and drive a posh car. It wasn't like that. But her head drops and I feel a wave of sadness for Alicia because I think it was. I think it was like that. And just like the way she treated Dad, she's seen it too late. I make a sound, not quite a cry, not quite a word. Mum looks at me and everything I'm thinking must be written in my eyes because her face crumples and she begs silently for forgiveness. Anna and Ella should go. They've got nothing to do with this. Laura gives a humorless laugh. They've got everything to do with this. She folds her arms across her chest. They've got the money. How much do you want? I don't mess around. Whatever she wants, she can have. No. I look at Mum. The money's for your future. Bella's future. Why do you think I ran away? Laura would have taken it all. Maybe I deserved that. But you didn't. I don't care about the money. She can take it or transfer it or to whatever account she wants. It's simpler than that. Laura smiling. The hair on the back of my neck stands up, a prickling sensations creeping down my spine. If you give me all your money, people will ask questions. Billy Mark, the bloody taxman, I'll have to trust you to keep quiet. And if I've learned one thing from this, she glances at Mum, is that you can't trust anyone. Laura, no. I look at Mum. She's shaking her head one step ahead of me. As far as anyone else is concerned, I came here to save you and Ella, Laura says. Mark helpfully told me where you'd be when he cancelled the party, and my sixth sense told me you were in terrible danger. She rolled her eyes as she acts out her pantomime, hands raised, fingers splayed on the hand, not wrapped around the gun. But when I've arrived, it was too late. Caroline had already shot you both and killed herself. She pushed the corners of her mouth downwards in mock dismay, then turns to me. You've seen Caroline's will. You were there when it was read to my daughter, Anna Johnson. I leave all financial and material assets to include all property in my name at the time of my death. She quotes verbatim from Mum's will, spitting out the words. Mum left you money too. Not a fortune, but a healthy inheritance that honoured Mum's long-standing friendship with Alicia, her duty to Laura as godmother. Laura continued as if I hadn't spoken. In the event that Anna has passed before the execution of this will, I leave all financial and material assets to my goddaughter, Laura Barnes. It's too late, Mum says. The will's been read, Anna's already inherited. But you're not dead, are you? Laura smiles. Not yet. The money still belongs to you. She raised the gun, points at me. My blood freezes. If Anna and Ella dies before you, I inherit the lot.